Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome aboard. We are here to help you win in your life, win with your money, win in your work, and win in your relationships. The phone number to jump in is 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw is joining me, and we are here to give you some hope through practical answers to the problems you're dealing with. Jade's our financial expert. I'll weigh in, and I'm your work expert. You want more income? You feel like there's some opportunities to make more income? You want to take steps to do that? I want to help you navigate that as well. She'll jump in on that. So that's what we do. Why do we do it? Because we are coaches and we want you to win. Let's go. Let's get started. Let's go to New York City, New York, the Big Apple. Grant is on the line. Grant, how can we help?
I'm doing all right, Ken. How are you?
Good. What's happening today?
So last week on Friday, I had lost my job. I was going through it was a second time I was late on the clock. My manager surprised me at work, and it unfortunately turned into a termination. I've since come and spoke with my parents about this, and they're very supportive. But I'm concerned about how do I explain this to future employers in different interviews.
Yeah. Well, the truth shall set you free, and I think that you've got to learn from this. And I think one of the ways to learn from this is to own it and go, this is what happened. And treat it as though this were testimony in the court that you were being recorded, because you need to understand it's very possible that future employers are going to call this boss or check your references. And so I want to look at somebody who can say, you know what, I showed up late. It was my second time. And here's what I've learned from that. And I learned that this is a weakness. And man, did I learn my lesson. Because I read biographies all the time of some of the most respected people in the world, women, men. And what I find fascinating when I read these biographies, Jade, is that they share a lot of the stuff they did wrong.
That's right.
And I don't close the book and go, well, that's it, Stacy. I'm in chapter 3 and I just found out that so-and-so did something dumb. I got to get a new biography where only the people that do great stuff. I mean, I'm sitting next to a very, very successful lady who your whole line all the time is how much debt you got into.
Mistake after mistake.
And then paid it off. So, Grant, I don't think this is anything to be cute with. I think you own it if they ask. Now, let me just say this. And I want Jay to weigh in here too. I wouldn't bring it up, but if they bring it up, you own it. And you say, I'm growing up because of this, and here's what I learned. Here's some things I'm doing in my life to make sure that never happens again. Mm-hmm. I think the only way to overcome this is to absolutely, humbly, and violently, what I mean by violent is just go, this is what I did wrong. And it woke me up, and here's what I'm doing, and I am embarrassed by it. But I'll tell you what, I'm never going to be late for a job again. And I think that's refreshing to people. Jade, what would you add to that?
I do too. Not much, other than the fact that the quicker you make peace with this and the quicker that you accept it and move on, the more confidently, to Ken's point, that you'll be able to talk about it. And it won't feel so much like a negative as a lesson learned and a piece of wisdom that you gained from it. So
what do you think about that? Is there something else we need to know, or is this just straight up, this happened twice, your boss didn't like it, and it was done?
It was the way the job worked. It was hourly, and I clocked in on company time, and it was just a matter of time theft. I fully admit and totally own up to everything. Would I lead off in these interviews with if they ever mention it, I got laid off, or should I just, like you said, fully and violently take on the responsibility of what I did?
Well, you do that, but the point is when you show up for the job interview, you don't go, "Hey, I'm here at this job interview because I was late twice and got fired." We don't need to lead off with stupid,
right?
But we're not gonna hide from stupid. So I wouldn't bring it up until it's brought up. Hey, why are you here? Why'd you leave your last job? You go, well, unfortunately, I made a real bad mistake and I was irresponsible and I was immature. And here's what I did. I think that freaks some people out that you didn't make any excuse at all.
Just so rare in the world.
Yeah, I think it makes you look really great, Grant. So own it, be okay with it, and I'm really proud of you just for making this phone call. I really am.
I called on Friday when it happened, and I felt like I had nobody to go to, and I had seen the Ramsey Show clips on TikTok, and I was like, man, I could use a guy like that right now, because I didn't think my parents or the people that I love in my life would respond well to this, but
they did.
First people I talked to, no, they did.
Yeah.
First people I talked to were them. I was most afraid to tell them, and it turned out they were the best people to reach out to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, listen, brother, I struggle with being late to this day. It's one of my biggest weaknesses. I get highly distracted. And so to this day, I have to come up with systems and things, and I still struggle with it. I get so easily distracted. So, owning these kind of things is the best way to get through them. Really proud of you. Thanks for calling. Straight from TikTok to the Ramsey Show.
Love it.
Who was on Friday? I was on Friday, I think.
I don't think I could tell you.
I can't even remember what day of the week it is right now. Much less where I was Friday. All right, never mind. Laura is joining us now in Syracuse, New York. Laura, I know that I'm here today, and Jade is as well. How can we help?
Hi. So after 5 years, we are in baby step 3. My primary vehicle is going to need about as much work as it's worth, so I'm looking to trade up a little bit. By September, I plan to have about $9,000, and my primary vehicle is worth about $3,000. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. I also have a van worth about $2,000, and we feel like we need a bigger vehicle for hauling because we live out in the country. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I should trade in both of these vehicles. I don't want to go back into debt.
Are you planning to trade the car in to get a van? Like, could you trade in and just get something that's got more capacity?
I do have an SUV right now. I have an SUV and a van that I could trade both of them in. I could keep the van and move to a smaller vehicle. Or I could just drive the van, but the van's not in great shape either.
Okay, so let's go back to the $9,000. Is that on top of your emergency fund? Is that additional money?
No, that includes that's all we have. That will be all we have.
That is the emergency fund.
Yeah, we just started baby step 3.
Okay.
So you got 2 cars that are worth $5,000? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Together, and then my husband has a vehicle.
What's his vehicle situation?
His is paid off. It's worth about $20,000.
Okay.
He has a sedan.
So I don't think you need 3 vehicles. I mean, if the hauling is for work, maybe you just trade into something where it can be your daily driver and you can haul the things that you need. You've got $5,000 to spend, because I would sell them both in order to do this. And maybe you look and see what you can find for 8 and take 3 of this and see if you can make it work. If it takes a little bit more, it takes a little bit more. You said that the car you're driving now, it's worth $3,000 and it's going to cost $3,000 to fix it. Is that where you're at?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm doing that until fall, the mechanic said. So I do have some time to figure out what to do here.
Yeah, but you said by September you'll have $9,000. And so
yes.
Yeah, I would do that. I would spend as little as possible because I don't totally want you to deplete this emergency fund. But yeah, sell both, okay. Take the $5,000, maybe put 3 or 4 with it and make it happen.
Yeah, good advice there. What do you think about putting 3 in it if the thing would actually run for a while after the 3? That would be the only other question I'd ask.
I probably wouldn't, because I guarantee she's put more than that in it over the years.
All right, good.
So I'd probably cut my losses at this point.
Okay, all right. Wow. Talk and shop with Jade Warshaw.
Talk and shop.
I need to get you one of those mechanic outfits with your name on the tag. That'd be pretty cool. You can rock that with some of your cool Nikes. All right, quick commercial break. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show. She is Jade Warshaw. I'm Ken Coleman, and we are here for you here on The Ramsey Show. We want you to win in life. We're going to help you win with your money, in your relationships, in your work. Those 3 areas are very, very important. They're all connected. We want to help you win. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. 888-825-5225. All right, selling a house. Buying a house. It's a lot of energy, like going in there. It can cause a lot of indigestion. And there's a Ramsey way to make home ownership a blessing. The Ramsey Trusted Program is the only way to find an agent you can trust to keep you on track with what we teach here at Ramsey and get the best offer on your house or find the right house for you. So these are men and women that we trust, and they've got years of experience in helping people make wise decisions from pricing, marketing, making, and choosing the right offer. How do you find them? RamseySolutions.com/agent. RamseySolutions.com/agent. All right, Jade, as our resident money expert on the show today, you're looking at the market, you're looking at the economy. What's your advice to people that are biting their nails about listing or buying?
I think that we're in a very crazy roller coaster of a time when it comes to these markets. And I think that prices of real estate, along with interest rates, has got people feeling some type of way, rightfully so. Yep. And I think that we have to be really careful that we don't move into a state of desperation. Because you know how it goes. Can you get desperate? Next thing you know, you're doing something real, real stupid. Yeah. And we're starting to see that. George and I were talking about it the other day. We're seeing an increase in adjustable rate mortgages that just popping out. Like a 15% increase over the last 2 to 3 weeks, which is crazy. We're seeing people look at 40-year mortgage loans. Oof. We're seeing 0 down mortgage loans. Right. And so I'm like, hey, lest we forget, the Great Recession, let's not go back to that way of thinking. And can you know this? A lot of people think we're in a recession right now. We're not. No, the numbers don't point to that. But you know how it is. If you perceive that, your behavior kind of starts to follow. So a lot of people are going, okay, things are bad. Like, what should I be doing? And it's a little bit of a scramble right now, I think. And you just kind of have to slow down, slow your roll, and go, okay, if I have to rent a little longer, that's okay. Yeah. I'm not going to feel forced into something that I can't afford. I'm not going to make a bad decision with the thought that later I can just refinance, or later there'll be an opportunity for me to get out of this, kind of subprime situation, because that's what I'm calling them. Yeah. Calling a spade on that. But anyway.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Grand Rapids, Michigan next. Renee is there. Renee, how can we help?
Hi. Yes, it's a pleasure to talk to you guys. Super excited. But I have a doozy of a question for you.
Ooh, we like the doozies.
I like a doozy.
All right. So my husband and I have lived in our current house. We bought it. It actually burned down a month later.
Oh, whoa.
And so we have like a brand new home. We've been living in it for 8 years now because it was built. So, and we only owe about $50,000 left, and we could pay it off tomorrow.
Okay, but
for the last 4 years, we've been looking to move because I run a business out of my home, and that is growing, that is booming, and we have 3 children. We would possibly love to add another, and so we purchased a home about 2 months ago, just got possession of it for quite a bit more money.
Okay, house number 2.
Higher interest rate.
Okay. What'd you spend?
And my husband, $585,000.
Okay.
And my husband officially has extreme buyer's remorse and doesn't want to move into it, and he wants to sell it.
What caused that? Extreme buyer's remorse. Affordability?
No, we can afford it. I think it's high interest rates. Economy. He's like, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. We could have been debt free.
What's the other house worth? The one you're actually living in?
Because it burned around $400,000.
So why can't you sell that and take home $300,000 and put it towards this $585,000 mortgage?
Because he's like, we're still going into debt. And he loves the house that we're in. He's like, it works perfectly.
So he went from one extreme to the other.
Why did you buy the new one? If the other one works perfectly, why did he buy the current the new one?
Yeah. So that's the whole thing. Like we're on this 2 months of roller coaster. And now the option is either we sell it and we lose at minimum around $50,000.
Yeah. If you sell it right now, if you sell it right now, there's probably going to be a loss. What'd you put down on it?
Oh yeah.
What'd you put down to get it?
I think 10% in knowing that we were going to sell this one.
Okay, you guys have to follow through on a plan here, because the longer that you kind of go back and forth on this, you're losing money because you still have your first home mortgage payment, even though you only owe $50,000, and now this one is right behind it.
Mortgage payments as of Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. So that right there is the motivation. You guys are in a hot pot and it's getting ready to boil. So you've got to decide what you're going to do. If I'm in your shoes, the logical thing to do, if you don't want to take a loss, is to stick with the house that you...
He's okay with taking a loss because he claims that it needs updating. The new house needs updating, and the current house we have is 100% the way we like it. And he claims that he has to put time, energy, and effort into it.
What do you think?
What do you think? Because he's the one that's gone back and forth, and you seem to have been steady. So what do you think?
He wants to sell it.
No, what do you think,
100%.
Mama? Mama, what do you think?
It would work perfect for us. I mean, no house is perfect for our needs.
Mm-hmm. Are you saying the new house would work perfect?
They both work perfect, but we work so hard for our money that it's hard to lose $50,000 right off the top.
Yeah, it is.
In commissions and fees.
Yeah, I wish he was on the phone because I'd love to talk to him dude to dude. Honestly, he's got some type of emotional fear or something that is
I think like
weird.
The house fire really damaged him because like we put our life savings into this house and it burned before our eyes. So I think there is some like PTSD with it.
But he was excited about this a couple weeks ago, right? Or a couple months ago.
He was. He's been looking for like 4 years for a new house.
I would tell him.
We put our offer in like on 5 houses.
All right, I'm going to get out of the way and let Jade take it, but I got to spit this out.
Spit it out, Ken.
Okay, and you can show him this on YouTube if he doesn't believe you. You can tell him that you called the show and that Ken, the dude over here, got all up in arms and told you, and I'm telling him, you need to man up, dude, and stop being an emotional roller coaster here. A month ago or 2 months ago or 2 weeks ago, you were all in on this, and this is the dumbest of dumb taxes if you back out of this deal and take an unnecessary loss. Move forward, sell the house, the old house, and just man up here.
But even if we take a loss, we can be debt-free here. You would say it's more worth it to move there at a 6% interest rate for $585,000 and have to put
different discussion.
Money into it.
This is a different discussion. Well, you're trying to change the discussion on me. I'll say this.
I think you guys. This is his argument.
I don't care what his argument is.
Based off of what you told us when you set this whole thing up, you're like, "Hey, we're thinking of growing the family. I got the business thing going on."
Yeah.
For me, just looking at this, and I'm a numbers person. Like I like people debt free. There's nothing wrong affordability wise with you guys upgrading home. There's nothing wrong with that. What I think happened, because there was nothing impulsive about this purchase. You said you've been looking for years and years and years. I think you're right. I think your husband had a little T-trauma moment and he's processing through that. I think you have the most clarity of both of you. If I were in your shoes, I would keep the $585,000 house. I would sell your the number one mortgage. I would pocket, $300 from it, $320, and I would immediately put that down on the $585,000 mortgage and shrink it back. Sounds like you guys have a fine income if you were able to float both of these mortgages and pay it off as quickly as possible. You'll be free again. Yes. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Renee, you're still moving forward. He needs to understand if he reneges on this and sells this new house, he's basically setting fire to $50,000 or more. That's what I'd play to his emotion on that.
That's right.
This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw is with me, and we're here for you this hour. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. 888-825-5225. Your money questions, of course. Jade's here to help on that. And then how about making more money? What are some things that are holding you back or some things that you can do to make more income? consider me your work coach, your income coach. I'm here to help out on those matters as well. All right, today's question, Jade, comes from Anthony in California. I'll read it to you. I got married 3 years ago with a prenup. My wife is a pharmacist. She makes around $200,000 a year. I'm a teacher bringing home $80,000 a year. She owned a home before we got married that's worth $900,000. I know that the house is not mine, and I have no rights to it. I contribute $1,700 a month to household expenses plus $500 out of my check a month for health insurance. I'm not building any equity. I asked my wife if she would be willing to sell her house. I can't wait for you to answer this, and buy a smaller house together. She said she's not willing to give up her house to make me feel better about myself. Am I wrong for questioning our marriage? Oh my goodness. Can I get a bag of popcorn before you dive into this?
I mean, I'm just...
Whoa. Lot to break down there.
There's so much circulating around like value and worth of the person based off of the money and the assets that they have. I mean, obviously she's the one that made you sign the prenup.
And my guess is it assumed that the prenup meant that he doesn't have the house?
Yeah.
That she retains full ownership? I'll bet you that's what that means.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I mean, she's the one that, I mean, I'm not making judgment calls here. I'm just reading what the paper says. She's the one that makes more money.
Yep.
She's the one that owns the house worth $900,000, and she also knows who she's married to. And
I mean, the dude straight up says, "I have no rights to the house." So that's what I'm reading. Wow.
There's a lot of issues here. In many ways, it's almost like she wanted to separate themselves going into this, and because she felt, obviously, hey, he can't contribute financially in a way that I can. And then, but there's still like this expectation that he should be maybe contributing more. I'm like, this guy's a teacher. What do you want? And then when he comes along and says, hey, is there a way that we can just lower the temperature on our spending through this house? She's like, no, like go fly a kite. So this for me is, yeah, you should be questioning the marriage here.
Yikes.
And if I'm you, I'm jumping into counseling
100%.
immediately. Yeah.
Okay. We'll get to the call quick here, but I want to ask you a step further. Okay. What's you're coaching him. Okay.
Okay.
And her.
Yeah.
What do you tell them that they need to dig into in therapy?
She thinks she's better than him.
Okay. Yeah.
She views her like I'm like just calling a spade.
Yeah.
She's up here and he's kind of down here.
Yeah. Good.
And it's all because of financial status.
There it is.
I'm sorry.
I like it. Judge Jade has ruled. Just
Slap
slam the
my
gavel.
gavel.
There it is. I like it. All right, let's get back to the phones. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. Aiden is going to join us now in Colorado Springs. Aiden, how can we help?
Hi. So I'm basically wondering whether or not I should be going to college or working full-time.
Love it. I love these moments in life. This is so fun. Okay, so let's walk through a two-part question, okay? The question is a degree, college, the only way to get where you want to go, Aiden, or is a college degree the best way to get where you want to go? And that would imply that you kind of have an idea where you want to go, so let's start there. Do you have an idea which direction you want to go professionally?
Not so much professionally. I do know that, so right now I'm 18, and I do know that 10 years from now I want to, like, own my own business and be, like, kind of free, financially free with the business.
Great.
And I know that if I went to college, it'd be for mechanical engineering, and I know that that's a good career.
Yep.
But if I worked full-time and started my own business, that could pan out as well. So
Okay.
I'm not,
Great.
that's kind of what I'm hung up on whether or not what I should do.
Yeah. All right, let me ask a couple other questions. Are you getting any pressure, whether it be positive or not, from parents, friends, teachers, whatever? You getting any pressure to go to college, or is it you feeling like, hey, I've got some freedom here to make this call emotionally?
There's definitely pressure from friends and family to go to college because Like, I'm a smart kid. I have a 3.8 GPA, but I also have a little one. I have a daughter, so I'm trying to make the best decision financially as well, because I know that going to college for 4 years is 4 years that I could be working.
Right. What is the situation with the mother of the child? What's the relationship? What's custody? Give us some sort of a picture of this.
There's no legal stuff in it, but we're not together. So,
but I mean, is there not child support?
No, there's nothing like that. No.
Okay, but you want to contribute and help out.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's put that aside for a second.
Okay.
If no one was going to judge and nobody had an opinion, it was just you and your own little private Aiden world, what's the answer to this question? Do you want to go to college or do you want to go to work now? What's the answer?
Realistically, it's probably go to work, start a business. There's part of me that weighs down because I have friends who would want to go to college because most of my tuition is paid for by the college, and I feel like it's like a smack in the face to other people.
So
that
Aiden,
don't get that
I love that.
opportunity.
I love that response. I think you're being honest, but let me push a little bit more. If you weren't worried about the guilt and we remove the guilt, I think the answer is you want to go work and work right now and try to figure out what your path is to owning a business. That's what I think you want to do, not what you think you should do. Am I right?
Yes.
All right.
Can I
Jade,
jump one
please.
side into this? Because on the one hand, I agree with Ken, and I think that you're kind of struggling with just the norm. The norm is you graduate, you go to college, and then you go get a job, right? That seems like that's kind of been the normal way that things play out with the people and the people around you, which I understand, and I think that's playing a big part in you feeling some type of way about possibly choosing not to go to college. However, I want to know more about this business thing, because I also do feel like when it comes to college, there's a lot of there's a lot of aspects of it. A, there's the educational side. B, there's the side where you just kind of grow up and you become an adult and you learn how to deal with folks and make friends. And there's this, there's a lot to it. And then there's this part that kind of buys you time where you're figuring out really what you want to do with the skills that you have. And if you have the opportunity to do that for free, it could be helpful, especially if you want to do a business, but you don't know exactly what that means and what that shakes out.
All right, let me give the converse to that, okay? Because I have mad respect for my colleague, Aiden, but I think you should take at least a gap year. So because we're running out of time, I want to tell you, I think right now you should take 1 year, 12 months, and go work with this goal in mind. And I'm going to give you my best-selling book called The Proximity Principle. And I want you to actually use this in this next 12 months. This would be my advice. I'm going to let Jade have the last word.
Hey, you're the expert.
Well,
let's go.
No, I just think I'd like you to take 12 months to actually go work and make some money, and with the goal of getting to know as many people in different types of trades or businesses that you might eventually be interested in. It gives you a year he could go right back to college and do what you're saying.
That's right.
He could, college isn't going anywhere. The scholarships aren't going anywhere, Aiden. But I'd love for you to just test this baby out. I think a gap year is brilliant for you because I think you're responsible. I think it allows you to stack some cash, but I want you maybe working 2 or 3 or 4 different jobs in that 12 months.
I'm not mad at that.
To get some experience for one reason. Can I figure out what type of business that I want to be in? I know that mechanical engineering is an area of giftedness, talent, and I know I could use that in a lot of different businesses. I think that's what I would do if I were you. And I think that'll take the pressure off of you with your family and friends to go, I'm not punting on college right now. I'm just going to try this. What do you think about that?
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah. And save some money, give some money to baby, mama, whatever. I get that
I'm with
too.
You. I like it.
Thanks for the call, Aiden. I know this. You're going to win, my friend. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw is with me this hour, and we are here for you. 888-825-5225. We're going to focus on helping you reduce debt, save that money, invest that money, and make more money. How about that? That's what we're here to do today. Tracy is going to join us now in Columbus, Ohio. Tracy, how can we help?
Hi, I'm calling because our son is a 19-year-old service member, and he'll be home on leave in a month. And he is asking us while he's home if he should do something different with his money or leave it sit in the low-interest savings account that he has it going to. And we've really only invested in 401ks. We haven't done any outside investments, so we're not really sure what direction to send him. He saved up a pretty good amount of money during high school working before committing to the service, and he has like slightly less than 3 years remaining, so he has some time to do something to earn some interest or something back. And I just was wondering like what direction you would suggest he go.
How much money is it?
He has about $55,000.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how old is he?
19.
Okay, so 19, 55,000. Go ahead.
What is his salary?
He's in the service. He doesn't make a lot of money. He's in the military.
I know, but he still makes money.
All through, well, I think probably, I mean, it's a private, so it's probably roughly around 30-something. But most of this money was just like during all of his high school years. Like he's a penny pincher, so every penny, every dollar he made, he saved. And so I would say he probably had roughly about 40 before he even went in. So, and then, you know, I said to him when we saw him a couple weeks ago, it just seems sad that the money is sitting in a savings account, and he's like, do you guys know what I should do with it? And I don't.
I'm not sad.
It's not sad that it's sitting in a savings account. I mean, if it's just sitting in a, your old run-of-the-mill savings account, it might not have a great rate of return. So at the very least, I'd make sure it's in a high yield. And they're really popping off right now. I've seen them as high as 5.3. Matter of fact, an article came out the other day talking about some of them. I know that, is it Laurel Road, James, that's doing 5.1%?
I'm not sure about the percentage, but I think that's the one.
Yeah, it's over 5. George and I were talking about it. George endorses them. So
yeah, so if you want to check them out and just put it in a place where it's making a decent rate of return, because to your point, in 3 years, he's going to be out of the service and he's probably going to be looking for a place to stay. So there's rent, and I don't know what his vehicle situation is. And so he's going to have some expenses coming up where it's going to be nice to have some liquid cash. And if he can make some money on that in the meantime, then I'm not mad at that.
Is he investing any of his income right now?
No. The military does do like a 401k now, which they didn't do years before. So he does partake in that.
Okay.
But I would probably honestly think it's not going to be a career for him. I think it's just like, just a love of country, wanted to do his time, and he'll probably do, his time and just get out. Which is why he wanted to make sure he saved all he could. But I didn't know, like, if a CD or something like that would be in his best interest.
No. What about baby step 4?
Like
I mean,
are you familiar with our baby steps?
I have not followed the baby steps. We are like, my husband and I are. I mean, we haven't been investors. We've just
So
Jade should walk you through this. This will be fun.
Here's what we would say. First off, no to a CD. There's no benefit of doing that. There's a lot of better options. Like I said, high yield savings account. If you go the savings route, high yield savings account, that's what I would do with the $55K that he currently has. Drop it in a high yield. Laurel Road is what we suggest. Now, as far as the money that he has coming in through his income, we would say to invest 15% of his gross salary every single month into that 401k that's being provided for him. that's great. And so to Ken's point, that's part of our baby steps. It's baby step 4. And the reason he's able to do that is because he's already completed everything up until that point, which is the paying off of his consumer debt. He doesn't have any debt. And he saved up what we would call 3 to 6 months of expenses. In his case, that's what that $55,000 is. And then after you've done that, now you're in a place where you can start investing regularly. And so that's why the why behind why we're giving you that advice.
Okay, that sounds good. And what did you say the name was? Laurel what?
Laurel Road.
Okay.
And so you can Google that. If you're like, that's not for me, you can check out Marcus by Goldman Sachs. You can check out Ally. They're all really great ones, but Laurel is the one that we have connections with here at Ramsey.
Okay, all right.
He's doing great, Mom. He really is. Mm-hmm. And you should be proud.
Yeah.
The fact that he should be investing, you said he is, so he's got a big chunk of savings. That's going to give him a lot of freedom and a lot of options, as Jade said. So he's doing okay. Nothing to be sad about at all. I'd be very happy. This young man is way ahead. Did she say he was 19?
Yeah, 19.
Okay, yeah, he's way ahead of most 19-year-olds. All right, let's go to Baltimore, Maryland next. Ryan is there. Ryan, how can we help?
Hey, how's it going, studio? Good morning.
Good. What's going on?
Good. So I'm 22 years old. I have $6,000 in a 401k, another $2,000 in an individual brokerage account I kind of play around with. I'm asking if I should take that money out of the 401k and the brokerage account to pay off some of my debt.
How much debt do you have?
That's about $23,000 in total between my car loan and I got a personal loan worth $6,000 and a credit card on $4,500.
Okay.
What's your income?
Yeah, what's your income?
So I make $130,000 a year right now, and I'm also getting another job increase. I'll be making around $150 a year.
Nice. Yeah, no, the answer to your question, I definitely would not touch the 401k. I mean, that's the whole point, is you're saving for your future. And whenever you're investing, it's a long-term play, especially if it's tied to retirement. You don't want to touch that money because of the penalties that are going to be associated with that. So no to that. If you wanted to clear out this $2,000 in the brokerage, definitely do that because, again, there's not going to be any tax implication or penalty if you do so. You'll have to pay taxes on it as an addition to your earned income. But other than that, there's no penalty per se with that brokerage. So you could definitely clear that out. And with this income that you have, there's no reason that you shouldn't be debt-free, lickety-split, right?
Yeah, because I'm making the payments fine right now. But, just between the interest rates, I think it's 11% of my credit card and about 12% of my car loan.
Yeah.
So I just didn't know. I mean, total, the monthly payments between all the debts, like $900, like little under $1,000. So I didn't know if I should take that money out and just invest $1,000 each month back into the 401k and be back to where I'm at.
No, because
if it's not worth it.
You're using a bad decision to justify a good reason. And so that's where you're at. You want to pay off your debt, which is really great. That's a good choice that you want to make, but you don't want to do it with a bad decision. And pulling from your 401k is a bad decision. And why we teach it that way, there's a lot of reasons. We just talked about the penalties and whatnot, but so much of money is behavioral and habitual. And so you've already had a habit of creating debt in your life, right? And so right now we're working on breaking the habit of creating debt. And what we don't want to do is then create a habit of pulling from 401k savings, retirement savings in order to fix a problem. Because now we're starting another habit that's a negative habit. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I got you. I'm not very smart with my money decisions. I got a large inheritance when I was 19 and kind of still recovering from some of that debt to get back on my feet. So I just don't want to make another wrong decision by pulling out of the 401k.
No, I think that you're...
Just go ahead and stick with the payments and take the $2,000 out of the brokerage account and put that towards the credit card, car, or...
Yeah, so you're going to start with the lowest in the debt snowball. You're going to start with whatever the lowest balance is. So it sounds like it's the credit cards, $4,500. Start with that.
Yep.
Then you're moving on to whatever's next, and then the $6,000 actually the $6,000 is next, and then the car.
Okay, sweet. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You got it, man.
Thanks for the call. You hear that, you want to go, you're not, Ryan, it's not that you're dumb. It's just you make decisions that a lot of people make. It's just kind of everybody else is doing it. And then you wake up, it's like, you're not branded as dumb. Hey, good hour, Jade Warshaw. Thank you, my friend. Thanks to James Childs and all of our team for keeping us on the air. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hi, Troy. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. And thanks, Dave. And thanks, Rachel, for taking my call this afternoon.
Sure. How can we help?
You know, my wife and I have been big fans, and we've followed a lot of your teachings and precepts over the years, and it's allowed us to come to a place of having no debt other than a little bit left over on a primary mortgage. We'd like to move out of Sacramento, and my question directly is, if we paid off our home, we'd be debt-free and it'd be great, and then we would be freed up to invest more and more into either retirements or other investment opportunities. My question is, do you ever consider a larger mortgage, like buying a more expensive home or in a more expensive area as your primary residence, as an investment vehicle, rather than using the money and investing in, say, the stock market?
Well, the problem with that is that you're violating the rule of diversification, because then you've got so much tied up in one asset. So let me give you an example. As we're studying the 10,000 millionaires in the Ramsey study of millionaires, when we would run across one, and they were very rare, but occasionally we would run across one that was a millionaire, maybe their net worth is $1.2 million, but their paid-for home is $1.1 million. Well, they're legitimately a millionaire. I mean, their net worth is over $1 million, but that's a little scary because they're not diversified, and that asset does not create an income for them at retirement.
Right.
It creates a place for them to live. And so they could live in a $600,000 paid-for house and have $600,000 with $1.2 million, in other words, invested, creating income. And so while the home is an asset, it's not an income-producing asset.
Right. So, you know, in our situation, our retirement 401k is just shy of $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our daughter's colleges, you know, we've saved, and we have that essentially taken care of with scholarships that they've received. You know, we've got the emergency fund put in place. We've got cash in the bank. The current home value that we have is about $575,000, and we owe about $170,000 on it. And so we feel like we've got a good base. We could continue doing that, pay off the house, and
so what price range home would you be in with your investment concept that you're pitching?
Well, it's right around $1 million, and so a 30-year all-in mortgage.
So you're currently at 1.617 net worth, right?
Right in there.
And you'd have $1 million of it in your home.
If we went down that road,
yeah. And that's a little high. Heavy. That's a little high. That makes me a little nervous. It's not over in the stupid column. It's just the nervous approaching stupid column. It's not.
Well,
it's not even.
You saying that because my wife is listening on the other line.
It's not even close to stupid. Okay, I'm joking around with you. You guys are brilliant. You're millionaires. Way to go! Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. You've done a lot of things right. You. So all we're doing is just discussing the fact that you're going to have 60% of your net worth tied up in non-income producing assets. I'll give you another example.
That's about right.
I'll give you another example of that. Okay, I've got a 250-acre farm that does absolutely nothing except hold the earth together, and is a place for me to shoot guns and drive four-wheelers. It does not create any income. It's worth millions of dollars, okay, but it does not create any income. If that was the larger portion of my total net worth, that would be unwise, because it really is a receptacle for bullets and four-wheelers. That's really all it does. It doesn't create anything for me to live off of. And so even though it's a wonderful investment, because it's in a prime location, it's in one of the fastest growing counties in the nation, it's wonderful ground. But as someday when some Ramsey sells it, it won't be while I'm alive, but while some Ramsey sells it, They will do very well on it, but it's not an income producer. So that's the whole discussion, and you guys just got to balance that out in your minds and go, okay, and what is our income, and much can we add to the $700,000 of income producing assets if we do this, so that it's less and less and less and less out of balance. It starts to bother me.
What percentage? Because like you said 60 there, but what's the?
Yeah, I mean, when you get north of 50, it starts to be scary. I mean, you got $1.2 million and half of it's in a house. That's not too bad, as long as you're adding to your investments, right?
Yeah.
But again, it would change. It skews. The percentages would skew as you go way up too. So let's say you had a $20 million net worth. Well, I wouldn't want you to be anywhere near that in your personal residence.
Sure. Yes.
You know, maybe 1/20th, 5% would be $1 million house.
Yeah.
Or a $2 million house would be 10% with a $20 million net worth. But you shouldn't be sitting around in a $10 million house.
With a 20 more.
That would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, you can do it, but I just don't think it'd be wise.
Yes.
And so, in my mind, it would be ridiculous.
And I'm just going to go a step further, because what you're saying though, it's mostly majority because there's not an income producing element to it. It's not that like the house is going to be taken, like it's not like it's a risky thing because it's there.
If he dies, what's his wife going to eat on?
Yeah.
She can't eat the bushes in front of the house.
Right.
No matter how valuable they are. She got to sell the house in order to liquidate to get money. And I don't want her to have to do that. I want her to be able to live comfortably on the income producing portion of the portfolio.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what's running through my head. They're okay as long as they're sitting there right now. If everything stays the same, he keeps creating. We don't even ask what his income is, but I'm sure it's great. I mean, and he's a smart guy. They're going to do fine. They're smart people. There's really not a horrible answer in this whole thing. But and so let's pretend they make $300,000 and they're going to have no house payment and they're going to be in $1 million. So that house is pretty well. It's going to go up in value. It's California real estate, but it's not what they're dependent on. In other words, they're going to take 150 of that 300, start throwing it, adding to that 700. In 10 years, this thing will really not be out of whack at all.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't die, as long as he doesn't quit it working, as long as that income doesn't go away, and we don't complete the plan. But if you stop early in the plan, you might have to liquidate the house. That's kind of. I want things to work when they don't work and when they do work. The overall idea, too, is diversification. Spread your portions to 7, yes to 8, for disaster may come upon the land. That's a biblical reference.